which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children. You're 7 years old and someone is stroking your it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good.
Oprah Winfrey ties to trafficking through convicted John of God. Now this guy's crazy. I actually get a few chills from the story. I done extra research into John of God, doing a few more articles, and this guy's connected to some supernatural entity or something. Like there's something going on.
Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole...
Oprah Winfrey, once hailed as the queen of television, is facing renewed scrutiny over her alleged ties to Sean Diddy Combs amid his recent controversies. This isn't the first time Oprah's name has been linked to questionable figures. In the past, her connections to Harvey Weinstein and Brazilian spiritual healer John of God, who was later convicted of horrific crimes, raised serious concerns. Years ago, Oprah featured John of God on her show, calling attention to his so-called miracle healings. At the time, she even tweeted her excitement about having him on. But as his crimes came to light, many accused Oprah of helping him clean up his public image. Now, with Diddy's scandal grabbing headlines, people are questioning whether Oprah's legacy is taking another hit.
Ties to trafficking through convicted John of God. Now this guy's crazy. I actually get a few chills from the story. I done extra research into John of God, doing a few more articles, and this guy's connected to some supernatural entity or something. Like there's something going on. Anyway, Oprah Winfrey and her BFF. The man in this photo is, quote, John of God. Oprah promoted him as a miracle healer. This man kept women chained to impregnate so he could sell their babies for organs, adrenochrome harvesting for trafficking, for satanic sacrifice, and who knows what else. He was arrested in December of 2018. Did you hear about it in the mainstream media? No. There are more photos of Oprah and John of God. This is John of God and Maria Donovich.
Miracle worker or monster? He's known as John of God, a celebrity faith healer whose followers claim he can miraculously cure diseases such as cancer. But now, the once beloved guru is accused of hundreds of women. And that's not all. Horrific allegations of baby trafficking and have also surfaced in a case that's sending shockwaves around the world.
He grabbed my hands and he moved it behind me on his pants. And I was like, why do I have to touch your in order for me to get healing?
Last year, Dutch choreographer Zahira Leineke Maus claimed she was twice by celebrity spiritual healer João Teixeira de Faria.
He took it a step further. He penetrated me from behind. I can't even describe it.
After Zahira's bombshell interview on Brazilian television, authorities were reportedly contacted by more than 600 accusers, ranging in age from 9 to 67, who claim they were by the so-called miracle worker. Faria's accusers include his own daughter, who says her father abused her between the ages of 10 and 14. For more than 50 years, Faria has led a spiritual center in rural Brazil, where he claims millions have flocked for his spiritual guidance or healing. From eye scrapings and evasive nose probings to incisions in the skin, John of God has performed countless unlicensed surgical procedures, seemingly with no anesthesia on enraptured followers.
We all have the possibility in our own way to be a medium for God.
Oprah famously visited Faria at his center in 2012 and was overwhelmed by what she witnessed.
What I just witnessed almost made me pass out.
Faria claims he channels the spirits of dead doctors and biblical figures to perform his miraculous healings. He's also known to perform psychic surgeries, invisible procedures powered by a force he calls the entity. But late last year, Faria was indicted on charges and surrendered himself to police after being on the run. Since then, the disgraced guru has also been accused of running baby farms where girls were impregnated and then 10 years after giving birth. Their infants allegedly sold on the black market. Faria remains behind bars and will face trial on and charges. And joining us now is crimeonline.com's Nancy Grace. And Nancy, John of God has denied all allegations against him. So what evidence are prosecutors working with here?
Well, I'm sure he has denied all of these claims. If these claims are true, that he young teen girls, took babies from them and farmed them out for adoption fees, those children will bear his DNA. And that's pretty incriminating evidence if it exists.
And Nancy, given his extraordinary celebrity, what's the likelihood, in your opinion, that this once revered guru will be convicted? And then what kind of sentence could he potentially face?
You know, the reality is this. Although I don't like it, I accept that it's true. When you are dealing with a celebrity, anything can happen. Everything can go sideways and you end up with a not guilty verdict. Now, in this case, regarding sentencing, if he is sentenced consecutively, which means one after the next, after the next, after the next, instead of concurrently altogether, he's looking at upwards of 70 years behind bars.
Well, as always, Nancy, thank you so much for shedding some light on this very disturbing story.
John of God was just the start of Oprah's string of questionable connections. Next came Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced Hollywood producer and once powerful mogul. Oprah wasn't just an acquaintance, she openly supported him, a decision that hasn't stood the test of time. With a track record like this, it's hard not to wonder, did the Queen of Television unknowingly surround herself with problematic figures, or is there more to the story?
McGowan has put Oprah on blast.
He seemingly suggested in the caption that Oprah knew the Hollywood producer was mistreating women.
He took hold of me and stood me in front of the mirror. And he's like touching me, rubbing me, and he's like, just relax.
And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
Oprah Winfrey will do anything to defend her powerful friends, even when her friends, like Harvey Weinstein, are complete monsters. She was there while he took advantage of hundreds of women. Harvey even used his friendship with Oprah to trap victims. But Oprah didn't stop it, and she sat on the sidelines and maybe even provided Harvey with additional victims. This is a sick situation and a twisted friendship. Media outlets, especially right-wing ones, have resurfaced pictures of Oprah that she probably would prefer to keep hidden because she has been around this man for so long that really there's no way that she didn't know that this was going on. An aspiring actor who alleges that Harvey forced himself on her in his hotel room said that he used his relationship with Oprah to groom her. So Harvey would use his relationship with Oprah to go and flex on these other people and, probably make some offers that he was never going to keep. He just wanted to get them in the room so then he can go and harm them. One person told the media that they were impressed by Harvey Weinstein when they met him because he had Oprah swinging off his arm. They said, "I thought obviously this man has something amazing in store for me, especially if he's got Oprah on his side." She's the same woman who met with Harvey in his hotel room to show off her reel, but he wanted to use her for...
Oprah eventually spoke out about the Weinstein scandal, calling it a pivotal moment for women. But to many, her statement felt as authentic as a scripted reality TV confession. Why the skepticism? Rumors swirled that behind closed doors. She continued to back Weinstein, even reportedly calling him while he was behind bars for a little moral support. The alleged move left people confused and outraged, with critics questioning her sincerity and branding the whole thing as a glaring example of hypocrisy.
That Harvey Weinstein's team leaked that Oprah called him to show her support for him. After allegations of his misconduct were exposed, Weinstein told his friends that Oprah called him to offer her support. This is a claim that she, of course, denies. According to TMZ, Harvey Weinstein said that Oprah encouraged him to defend himself publicly, but her people said they never spoke directly and she was only interested in talking to him for a TV interview. Okay, great, let's platform him. We're told that Harvey said that a number of powerful people have called him to voice their support, but he singled out Oprah over and over. Oprah was supposedly interested in doing a 60 Minutes interview with Harvey Weinstein, but made it clear that she was only interested if he'd look in the mirror and give her the honest truth. I don't know if we were gonna get the truth ever, and I don't think that Oprah would be able to pull it out of her good friend, and at one point she did put out a statement saying that his behavior is hideous. She said she also agrees with people who blame the enablers. I mean, we just talked about Michael Jackson and how his company's being sued because his company looked the other way when all these little boys were sent to his home, allegedly. But Oprah is an enabler. She's one of those people that he used to leverage and to get what he wanted. She actually wrote this on Facebook saying, "I've been processing the accounts of Harvey Weinstein's hideous behavior, and I haven't been able to find the words to articulate the magnitude of the situation." AKA, she doesn't want to say much more. She did share this one quote: "This is the story of one predator and his many victims, but it is also a story about an overwhelming systemic enabling, and until that story is fully told, we will fall far short of stopping future depredations on a similar scale." And again, that's another way of Oprah kind of acknowledging the situation, but trying to paint it as...
While Oprah's connections to Harvey Weinstein and John of God may have been brief, her association with Diddy carries a much darker undertone. Some critics have gone so far as to label her Hollywood's charming pimp, accusing her of orchestrating opportunities for A-listers like Justin Bieber. Even comedian Bill Burr didn't hold back, slamming her for staying silent during Weinstein's downfall and suggesting that, in Hollywood, nobody is just friends without an agenda. Burr's take that in an industry where every move is calculated, Oprah couldn't have been unaware of Weinstein's misdeeds, has sparked a broader reevaluation of her once pristine image. For many, it's raising questions about how deep the connections really go.
One thing was annoying, and I hated how Oprah was interviewing him and acting like she was dumbfounded that this guy would do this. Like, she's been in show business for 35 years and she can't like wrap her head around some guy doing whatever it takes to get to the next level. Didn't she, for the first 5 years, have like midgets who wanted to bang their mailman's boyfriend? And she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it, but she didn't have the power to say no, so she wrote it out. And then when she could make a good decision, she did a show, but she stood on the heads of those little people for 5 years until she got, and then she's sitting there across from this guy like, so how could you? You know exactly what he's doing. It's the stupidest.
So, how does Oprah tie into Harvey Weinstein's shadowy network? One connection often cited is her girls' school in South Africa. Despite lacking government approval for its construction, the school was built anyway, raising eyebrows from the start. The big question is, was it truly a project for empowerment, as Oprah claimed, or could there have been something more troubling happening behind the scenes? Critics can't help but wonder if there's a darker story beneath the surface.
Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey thought it would be a good idea to open up a boarding school in South Africa. She was inspired by Nelson Mandela and made a promise to him that she was going to create this school. The academy is called Leadership Academy for Girls. Actually, the government of South Africa was against Oprah opening this school because it's an extremely expensive place and the population there is extremely poor. But yet, she opens this school and it's got salons in it, it's got gyms in it. I mean, some people think that this was a place for kids to be human trafficked because they would go and get them ready there for sale. And honestly, we don't need to talk about that conspiracy, but we need to talk about the scandals that have gone down at this school.
These are my girls. These are my girls.
Oprah, look up and look out there.
So Oprah built this $40 million school in South Africa, and they had 152 students attend. Oprah actually handpicked the 152 students who attended her school, but it wasn't long until some of these students were being harmed by one of the employees of the school. Her name is Virginia, and she was 27 years old at the time, and she was charged with 13 counts of getting inappropriate with the kids. Virginia Virginia got physical with at least 6 students aged 13 to 15. So these students were handpicked by Oprah to go and live at this academy, and one of these employees who is managing the dorm is physically touching them and doing things to them and harming them. This was a bad look for South Africa because they have had a problem with children being harmed at school by these employees. But ultimately, Oprah put them in this situation to be harmed by this employee. And this wasn't the only scandal that went down at this academy, but Oprah actually decided to travel to South Africa after the news broke about Virginia. She brought a team of investigators to go to the school and get to the bottom of what actually went down.
6 students of the 152 accepted students by Oprah to attend the institution, laying accusations on the dorm matron Virginia Tinley Basketball. She was accused of physical and that she had a plea of not guilty to this effect. It was quite a thing of shock and pain to Oprah to have this kind of allegation leveled against something having her name as a forefront. On returning to South Africa with a team of private detectives to investigate the allegations and personally to speak with the girls, Oprah said, "It has shaken me to my core that this is one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating experiences of my life." The news did not only reflect badly on her, but it also reflected badly on the nation.
So it's a good thing that Oprah decided to go to the school in South Africa and investigate because, yes, her name is tied to this school, and if any sketchy things go down there, it's going to be associated with Oprah. Unfortunately, that employee, Virginia, was cleared of all charges. You guys know the justice system is messed up in the US. Well, it's messed up everywhere, and she didn't get in trouble or was held accountable for harming these girls. But actually, Virginia decided to flip the script and try to sue Oprah for defamation for claiming that she did these things to these girls, yet she was found innocent. But that wasn't the only scandal that came out of Oprah's school, because ever since it's been open, there's been scandal after scandal. Less than 2 years later, there was another incident where some students were getting physical with each other, and there was a 15-year-old who urged to these victims to keep everything on the down low and not to tell their parents or investigators what happened. So 7 students were suspended from the school, and these girls were alleged to have been intimidating others into partaking in inappropriate behaviors. A letter sent to one of the suspended girls' parents reportedly read, "You have been found guilty of physical contact of an intimate nature with another person on campus, harassment, bullying of other girls on campus, and of being dishonest by not telling investigators the whole truth." So I don't understand why Oprah just went to this school like less than a year ago to fix things, yet this is still going on. I mean, how does this 15-year-old get away with preying on their schoolmates and coercing them into lying to officials about it? Now, this next scandal we're going to be talking about is extremely triggering, so I want to give you guys a trigger warning because it's about to get graphic. So less than 2 years after the second scandal, cops found the body of a dead newborn at Oprah's school. So pretty much one of Oprah's handpicked students who had not been identified gave birth at their school, which is located in South Africa. And I guess this student decided to take the baby's life. The baby was actually found in one of the student's backpacks, which... oh my gosh, it's gonna make my eye twitch. Like, I'm starting to black out. Like, the baby's body was found in one of the student's bags, and the student who gave birth to the baby actually went to the hospital and was treated for excessive bleeding because I guess they gave birth in the school and just had the baby in the bag. Obviously, that's a horrific situation, and who knows what was going on in that young girl's life to lead her to do that. Oprah doesn't necessarily have control over that, but she does have control over who she's friends with.
Diddy and Oprah's connections to Jamie Foxx have sparked speculation about his mysterious hospitalization. At first, it might seem far-fetched, but as more dots are connected, a darker narrative begins to emerge. What's really happening behind the scenes? Are these connections purely coincidental, or is there a deeper story unfolding?
I was partying so much and getting into a lot of trouble before the Oscars was coming up, and I got a call from somebody named Oprah Winfrey. Hi, Jamie Foxx, it's Oprah Winfrey. And I ended up having to go meet with her and says, Jamie, you got a real opportunity to win this, but you got to slow down. Because I didn't know it was a campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she ended up taking me to a party. And at the party, it was at Quincy Jones's house. Mm-hmm. And Quincy comes up, hey man, you're doing a great job, man. That Ray Charles, man, you killed that son of a man. It's amazing, man.
Oh
man,
God.
Yeah, come on in, man. I see the record. They say I'm sleeping with everybody. And everybody yelling. I said, so I'm laying in bed with Oprah. I lean over to Gail and say, hey, crazy. Yo, we getting together. Yo, Stedman, get us some juice. But Oprah was definitely
rubbing your shoulders on her show. She was loving you, bro.
We had a connection. If it was right, I didn't want to disrespect.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
The theory gained momentum after Jaguar Wright revealed a side of Jamie Foxx that shattered his charming Hollywood image. She exposed him as someone quite different from the persona we all believe. Suddenly, the connections between him, Oprah, and Diddy don't seem so random anymore. The pieces of the puzzle are starting to fit in a much darker way.
Jamie Foxx.
What about Jamie?
You've been in rooms.
I know Jamie.
What's your?
Me and Jamie shared a manager, Breon.
Shout out Breon. Yes.
Yeah, somebody please put him on a milk cart. No one's seen him since Jamie went into the hospital. I hope Breon's okay. Hope he didn't have a stroke.
Does the Claudia Jordan thing stem from that?
No, not really. That's more about the transgender assistants that were constantly engaged to come and party with Jamie because everyone knows he likes transgender women. He went after my Gigi. Want to know when we met all up together? When they met my Gigi?
Go ahead.
At a party at Park. It was the second inauguration for the Obamas, and I was there as a guest at the party, like I was at the first inauguration. And I brought Gigi with me, and Jamie had his eye on her. And Breon asked me if it was cool. And I said, everybody here is grown. Gigi was quite catnip. I mean, if you look at her, she's amazing. But I never let her fake it. I never let her pretend to be a woman. But I always insisted that she behaved like one. The transgender girls that I took care of and I looked after who were in the business or worked with the business or clients held in the business, I always demanded that they think highly of themselves. They had keys to my house, so on the nights where they couldn't go home and they didn't trick enough money, they didn't have to keep tricking, you know? Come to the house. Food will be on the stove. Don't die tonight. Because a lot of them end up in dumpsters. So yeah, you know, Jamie done a lot. The basketball games that he hosted. I mean, everybody knew, and there's no point in me hiding it now because his fate has been sealed, whatever it may be. But everybody knew if you went to a party at Jamie's house that at midnight, the witching hour began. And basically he would have a party and everybody would be in there. But at 12 o'clock, the women would start to take off their clothes and you would have to guess if you were with a cisgender woman or a transgender woman. So some of these dudes, they already been making out with these chicks, you know, they already been doing all kinds of stuff. And then the clothes come off and you figure out whether or not you got a chick or a chick with a That was a standard. Or the night that another male R&B artist that I know, and I've already spoke about this, I'm not gonna put you out there, but you know exactly who you are. You know you was there underneath that piano sucking Jamie's while he was playing Mozart. And he taped it and I saw it. Now I've already spoke about this on another channel and I'm not gonna say your name this time because you didn't sue me. So we already know what it is. But what I will say is this. Tonka trucks are Tonka trucks, not tanks. You got played with, and that's just what it is.
Jamie Foxx states in the special that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he is the one that called the FBI on him.
It kind of makes me think about a couple things too. So we just talked about Jay-Z and Puff. There was also this allegation floating around that Diddy has set up Jamie Foxx, or that Diddy was the reason why Jamie Foxx got in the hospital. Did you hear that rumor? And what's the details that you understood what took place? Because all of us thought it was COVID related, and I think Jamie even saw a video of him talking about he had took something and then some time later he fell out. But what's going on with that?
Well, there was a rumor, or I can't say it was a truth because I wasn't there, but there's been a rumor that the whole time when Jamie was out, for the industry insiders, Diddy did that to him.
Okay.
He caught Jamie filming allegedly, or whatever. They told Jamie to chill. He didn't chill, and allegedly Diddy and security beat Jamie ass. That's why Jamie was in the hospital, allegedly, right? But then there's the thing where they saying that they gave him some type of pill or something that knocked him out. But it all was alleged connected back to Diddy.
Even Diddy's former bodyguard has come forward, claiming that Diddy, Oprah, Weinstein, and other influential figures were all connected. This revelation has raised even more questions about Oprah's relationships with Hollywood insiders. It's time to take a closer look at these ties and uncover the dark, hidden connections that may lie beneath the surface.
He was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein, he was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support him. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother. Not one person.
Let's not overlook Oprah's fallout with Monique, which many see as a clear case of betrayal. Monique didn't hold back, accusing Oprah of two-faced behavior, particularly when Oprah allegedly violated her trust by bringing Monique's family onto her show without permission. This move added to the growing list of controversies surrounding Oprah's relationships and how she handles trust.
Thinks Oprah is one of the most loving people on earth. But is she really? Actress Monique accused her of going behind her back and betraying her. They were good friends until Oprah invited Monique's family onto her talk show without Monique knowing. Sick of being taken advantage of, Monique decided to speak out, but it only made things worse.
For 8 years, my family has suffered and my career has suffered. What really happened when Monique finally confronted Oprah?
Oprah Winfrey, you know what you need to do and stop hiding. People are beginning to see you for who you are.
A lot of people said, how could you say that? Oprah is a human being. She bleeds, she breathes, and one day she'll expire. And if you feel like there's something you need to say to anyone, I feel like you should say it.
When it comes to Oprah and Monique's falling out, it's actually more complicated than it seems. We discovered that it's deeply personal. So both Oprah and Monique grew up in very households. Monique had always looked up to Oprah ever since she was young.
I'm a little black fat girl from Baltimore, Maryland. And I saw this fat black woman on a TV show. We took a field trip to that studio. And I hugged that woman. And I said, when I grow up, Miss Winfrey, I want to do what you do. And she said, you know, you got to work really hard.
And she did just that. She worked extremely hard and achieved her dreams of becoming a stand-up comedian. And every time her path crossed with Oprah, they grew closer and closer.
That woman hugged me and said, when I look at you, I ain't doing nothing but looking at me. And I shared my relationship with her about my mother, as she shared hers with me.
And so by the time she got her big break doing the movie Precious, it was a great opportunity for her to work with Lee Daniels, which was an old friend, and Oprah as well. Everybody was so used to seeing Monique as a comedian that nobody was expecting her to do such a great job.
The first thing I said to her was, who's your favorite designer? Because you need to get your dress ready to walk down that red carpet to the Oscars, girl.
Everyone was talking about Monique's performance. Now producers are wanting to fly her around the world. They want her to promote the movie. But at this point, her priorities had already shifted.
There was a request from the movie studio that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. I simply said I respectfully declined. And I said to them, my deal is with Lee Daniels, and I've done my job. I did all of my contractual obligations, and I was done.
Why wouldn't she want to go to Cannes?
At this point, she'd already had 2 failed marriages. By the 3rd marriage, she was desperate to spend time with her family.
When they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. I said, guys, I'm spending time with my family. I'm gonna pass. And they all agreed.
Monique thought she had the support of everybody, Oprah, the producers, but it was far from the truth.
We were on the campaign and she was making unreasonable demands. You gotta play ball. This is not just show. It's show business.
And the backlash only got worse.
I got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now I said no to some very powerful people. What Tyler Perry showed me, Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate. When you don't do what we ask you to do, we'll take your livelihood.
But this isn't the only difficulty that Monique is facing at the time. So while she's getting backlash because she wasn't playing the game, Monique had been betrayed by somebody that she never saw coming. This is where things shift from professional to deeply personal.
What happened?
Oprah Winfrey called us up, and she said my brother wanted to come on the show.
Your older brother you described as a monster, and he
Yes.
from the time you were
7.
How did he you? Are we talking about
Yes. She said, if you don't want me to have your brother on the show, I will cancel the show. But I wanted to call you up to see how you felt first.
Monique thought Oprah had her back, but that was not the case.
I began to see commercials with my brother, my mother, my father, and my other brother. Now, the reason why that means so much is because in the conversation we had about my brother, we then went deeper. And we began to talk about our relationships with our mothers and our fathers. She never said my mother was coming on that show, because had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm gonna have your mother, I would have said, shut it down.
Not only are you betrayed by somebody that you thought was your friend, but somebody that has lived the same experience as you and should know how deep that would hurt.
It probably was a really bad mistake on Oprah's part, but according to Monique, Oprah didn't apologize for it. So one night at a party, Monique had a chance to confront her.
So, what do you think? Will Oprah hold on to her throne and continue ruling her billion-dollar empire? Or is she about to face the fallout from her connections? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Until then, fam, keep it real.